So the show plays on so many different levels. It plays in societal messaging in the sense that what would it be like if suddenly you were walking in a black man's shoes, or you were walking in justice of the court's shoes? What would it feel like if you had power that you didn't have before? So it's a play on, can you imagine? And it also is a play on, oh, well, maybe I could understand that person better, which is what the stories try to do. And originally, and they've picked it up, I think, beautifully. We get to stay more in the present in this show. We couldn't afford to stay in the present in the last show. It was budgetary. But at the same time, and I think Ernie said it just a minute ago, he said that, you know, we are 30, 40, 50 years in this storytelling process, and it's kind of amazing when you look at something that happened in, you know, 1994, that happened in 1967, that happened in, you know, that things have changed, but how much have they changed? And how much can we take and embrace and go, oh, that's why that happened. So it's a great show to learn from. It'll entertain you. It'll take you on a roller coaster ride. And it's the coolest show on TV as far as I'm concerned, because one week it's a comedy, the next week it's a drama, the next week it's a thriller, the next week it's a horror show. You know, we can do anything we want. And I think the audience loves the variety. It's an actor's dream. It's a writer's dream.
Yeah, sure.
It's magic.
What is it like to craft those stories that are like responding to social statements about social problems?
Again, it's walking in someone else's shoes. What does that feel like? I think that is something that we all need to do more of if we want to understand what people are going through and why they're feeling what they're feeling. And I think that's what helps. That's what helps choose the shows. I know originally it was really a guideline. We weren't always looking to do social comment, but there were certain things that were just right for it. You know, what is it like to be a woman in 1961 where you had no voice, you had no rights, you had no power, really? And what was it like to be a black person in a riot? How does it feel from the inside out? Those are the kind of stories that I think, again, make people help people to understand each other better.
And help people to realize, too, that it really is choice. I think we're at a point now in our evolution that we got some serious choices to make, and sadly, we're sort of unconsciously making them. And I think the show reflects that, that decision could go that way, and there's serious consequences, or it could unfold this way, and it's a totally different thing. So I think just the awareness that we are, and a lot of these choices we're making based on just our being unaware of who each other is. And that's the exciting thing for me right now is that, it's about what are we do we really want to keep doing this? You know, so.
I think that's important. I think that we definitely, and truthfully, you can watch the show and just watch it for the entertainment value.
Yes.
Have a fun ride. It was a good show, great dialogue, good music, maybe cry a little bit, maybe laugh a little bit. Or you can go, oh, that's why that happened. And you can then turn around to somebody that you care about that you're watching and sharing the show with and say, did you feel that? Did you get that? And now you're into a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's the power of Wondercon, as far as I'm concerned. Oh my God! It's so good. You have to watch it. Yeah, that's a really good one. I think that if you've been following the show, the setups are all paid off. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, the reasons, how we got to where that's sort of clarified, but in that clarification, other complications and other reasons for moving forward, it becomes very exciting. And I think the season finale sort of really kicks the next evolution, but it also sort of clarifies some of the mystery that we've been playing with.
Once you mess with time,
Yeah.
stuff happens. Time messes with you.
Right. Yeah.
What were some of the most challenging things that you've ever had to do on set?
The challenging things I've had to do on set. Geez, I don't know. My, you mean as a character, or you mean me personally, or?
Or anything in
Oh, okay. Well, the really challenging thing is getting up in the morning and sort of. But I think for as a character is really sort of trying to be there to. He's developed this family to sort of nurture them to move the program forward, but yet really falling apart in other areas of his life. You know, the sacrifices you make to do this, there are consequences over there, and how do you reconcile that? How do you be here 100% and not be there at all? And all those things are sort of playing with who he is as a human being. So how I make that make sense in the character is. But I will say, it's not that it's not challenging, but this is the most fun group of people I've worked with. I know it's sort of a nice thing to say, but really, the actors I'm playing with, these are truly, truly talented people, and it's just a joy to sort of learn from them, you know. But I realize I'm not the kid, I'm sort of the old guy here, but it's really it's a great cast.
But I think you've nailed something so wonderful that the first show didn't have, which was the family.
Yeah.
And you're kind of the father. You launch this, they go to you, they're the young, the energy, and they bring their issues to you, and you have got to guide them, still being in charge, but still being emotional. And if I can say, I think it was episode 3, The Bounty Show, when you talked about being leapt into. And that was something that we really never did. We would give a little bit of verbiage to it, but when Ernie did that, I was watching them shoot, and every take, he took you there. Every word, every feeling of what it must have been like to lose control of yourself, but still understand something, and then coming back and seeing and hearing what people said you did and not remembering it. He nailed it. He really did. And he's right. We have an incredible ensemble of actors who are like a theater troupe. When they come in with all this dialogue and shift, it's a dance. It's a true dance. We're blessed again.
Yeah, you don't always see that. I've worked on a lot of shows, but the desire to make that decision and show up and to flesh the characters out and tell the stories. It's very, very unusual and very exciting.
You didn't really, not as much in the first series, couldn't really talk about it as much, but can you discuss a little bit about the importance of the inclusion of the LGBTQ plus community and those themes in the story?
Oh, in this, yeah, in the sense that I'm trying to think, we did some pretty daring shows for women's rights, for animal rights, and we were lucky enough in this show to have Shakira, who is a writer, who is trans, to tell the story, and we're incredibly lucky to have Mason. So it was built into the doors that were open to us. And it was also at a time, I think the original show was 1989, and there were some hard times for, LGBT people at that time. AIDS was just coming really online. Nobody knew anything about it. We wanted to get there, but we were off the air in 5 years. I think had we stayed on the air, all of those things would have been brought to the surface and addressed, because it's that kind of show. You can have that kind of conversation. And I think now with the new series, Dean and Martin have really worked hard to diversify behind the camera, in front of the camera, and so we have so much more representation and opportunities to tell these stories.
And being someone who I've been around a while, so during that 80s, 90s period, and our perspective on things, You asked about the challenging on the set. I mean, for me to adjust my perspective, I mean, because we're all sort of in this changing. You know, how do we get the pronouns right? How do we be respectful? How do we open ourselves up to all of that is at play, you know, in the stories, but also, I mean, behind the scenes. And I'm learning, and it's difficult to let go of your stuff to realize that do I really want that? You know, it's kind of a cool time. I think I'm learning slowly, unfortunately. Good.
Did we get your question?
No, I did have one question.
Sure.
It was going to piggyback off of that. Were there any things or any missions that you wanted to accomplish in the 80s that maybe you're going to tackle now because the time has happened and like more information has come out? Anything like mental health or anything that wasn't popular that is now?
All of it's possible. All of it. And the thing is, the audience, the people that you're writing for right now, I open that challenge up to them, which is to do the old-fashioned thing. Write to us. Tell us what you're going through. Some of the letters that we've already gotten are so moving about how people have been helped by the show already. Young trans people who could not communicate with their parents now have a platform to sit and talk with them. You know how powerful that is? That's what takes the medium of television to the next level. That's where we can make a difference. And you guys are on the pulse. So bring that back to us and give us the opportunity. And then, you know, I feel like Star Trek has 9 spin-offs and 9 movies and video games. So could we. Help us. But be the difference.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.